Sorry. Don't know what happened there. I got so excited. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. It is our Fold, Flip, and Fab craft along. I am super excited to kick this off. Thank you so much to everyone that's purchased the craft along ahead of time. And don't worry, you can still get your craft along kit anytime all the way through Saturday. I have the details in the description of the video. I'll also put it in the comments as well. This Facebook Live is also going to be loaded up to YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, hello, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And my YouTube subscribers there, you can go ahead and you can also order this craft along kit. And you can watch these videos over and over because every live will be on Facebook and it'll be staying out there for a while. So you won't have to worry about it disappearing after 30 days. Bonus! At the end of the week, I will be sending a recap out with all the video links so everyone has them. If you'd order your craft along ahead of time, you will have gotten an email yesterday sometime with the tutorial in there. So there was one correction that is for Thursday night's projects. I missed a 4 in the initial score, but I'll show you where that is and you can make your correction right on your tutorial. It's not a major thing. So yeah, I'm just trying to get my iPad here. I'm hoping it's charged so that I can actually see comments. I'm going to try something a little new. Not really new. I used to do it a long time ago and it stopped working. So, but without further ado, I'm going to flip down my camera. So if you get dizzy, close your eyes. But I'm going to get started and I'm going to show you what is in your craft along kit. So give me a moment. Close your eyes if you get dizzy. I'll tell you when to open them. Okay, you can open up your eyes. All right, I just want to go over here and get my feed going, make sure I'm actually live and running, because I keep getting a little message saying it's a slow connection. Not sure why that is, but it's not. I've got fiber, so I don't know why it would say it's a slow connection. All right, so I'm just going to move some extraneous matter out of the way so we don't have to look at it. All right, so in your fun little craft along, yours would have had a label on it with a nice little craft along message and a link to the tutorial so you can download it in case you lose it again. Also in there, you have just pull everything out here. We'll be using it all tonight. You're going to have a package of your cardstock that you'll be using. Notice I left it all by 8.5, 11 because you're going to be cutting it up yourself during our craft along. So you have enough pages in here to make all your projects. I would suggest that there are a couple sheets of white cardstock. This is what you're going to mainly be doing your stamping on. Yeah, so you can pull one. You know what? I'm going to pull one out now because I know I'm going to need one. So let me just get out what I need for tonight. Need that. And I'll show you in just a moment what we'll need tonight. But I'm in here, so I might as well do this right away. And I'm going to apologize now. My allergies are crazy. I had a little break before I had to do the video tonight, and I thought, oh, let's just go outside and do a little bit of weeding. Yeah, not a good decision. Just saying. Foolishness on my part. Okay, so we have our cardstock. You also have your embellishment and your Secret C ribbon, so you'll be needing those. There is a handy dandy little package here of some die cut pieces that I've already done for you. So you will be using those tonight. You will need your lovely arrangement stamp set and dies, unless you have a different stamp set that you would prefer to use. Feel free to use that. But this is what I've featured all the projects on. If you don't have that and want that, you can still get that in my online store. So I'll put a link for that too in the description. Let me just write that down so I don't forget about it. All right, so we're going to put our link to register and link to the lovely arrangements bundle. All right. I have to make a note because otherwise I'll forget. Yeah. Okay, and that's my little note on something else I was working on. Okay, also in your kit, and this is going to be really something that's a blessing in disguise. Not really, but it is a great thing to have. These are adhesive sheets. If you don't have these, oh my gosh, you better get some more. This will be more than enough to do all of your projects plus, all right? I actually have a small sheet that I'm going to pull out instead of cutting up this big one. I think I have it here. All right, well, maybe I will just use my big one. Usually I have a lot of these sheets laying around. I do. So I'm going to just be using my bits and pieces, but you'll be using your whole sheet there. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put that. And then, big delight here is a full pack of designer series paper. Now I've already opened mine. But I want to share with you. So this is in the tutorial when I talk about the card sheet, this is what I'm referring to. So you have 2 or 3 sheets of these. So 3 sheets. We'll be using the backs here. We'll be using all this paper. Don't worry. You'll still have plenty, though, left over to do your other projects. So the first thing I'm going to grab out of here, I'm going to grab this cloud cover floral piece, and it has the petal pink on back. We're going to be using both sides of this, so grab that whole piece out, and then you can put your other stuff away. Oh, I need one other sheet. Oh, we'll grab it out as we go to the next project. So we're going to do one project at a time, mainly so I don't get messed up. Okay. I'm going to put this aside. I do need one other thing here. I need cloud cover. All right. So I've got my piece of cloud cover cardstock. Let's put this back. I've got a piece of petal pink cardstock, and I've got 2 pieces of my old olive cardstock. All right. Now in your tutorial, we're going to be in a piece of basic white that I'm going to do my stamping on. In your tutorial here, it's a nice 10-page tutorial. I have lots of pictures in here, so you'll be able to see all the cards, all the measurements and instructions, and kind of some more pictures so you can really see how the project is laid out. So we're going to be doing the first 2 projects here, and I am just going to put this aside because I don't have the measurements written down, and if I want to go in the order that I wrote up the tutorial and use those measurements, I have to have that sitting out. So let's put that, I'm going to put that over here. I'm going to move my keyboard because I really don't need that for anything. If I see a comment, I will make sure to just respond to it. So let's see. Let's refresh my screen. Okay, hello Beth, how are you? Okay, so let's move all these pieces off to the side. I do have one more thing I want to do that I just hadn't done before. I want to see if I can get my iPad up. So we'll do this. Oh, and I probably forgot what my password is. Oh, I didn't. Oh, what do you mean no internet? I've got internet. Oh, there it is. It just was slow to come up. It just rebooted, so just give me a moment. It'll be there. Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. Oh, it is. I have to check my password. Hold on, because I don't remember what my new password is. I changed my passwords because I thought I had gotten hacked, and I don't want to lose my... I'm going to hold my password down here. Hold on, please. I don't want to lose my admin access to my account here. So every once in a while, you need to change your passwords. So that's my public service announcement for tonight. And, you know, they make you type these long, horrendous passwords. Let's hope that's the right one. Okay. We'll try it again. La, 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 la. Oh, I just erased it. Oh my goodness. I just want to be able to see everyone's comments, so just bear with me. I know I gotta find the other. There it is. Okay, it's spinning, so cross your fingers I got the right one. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Woohoo. Oh. Login code. What do you mean login code? Hold please. I have to go get my email. You know, it's just nothing can be easy. Okay, so partner request. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting all these weird things popping up here, and I just need to figure out where it's coming from. So, oh, well, okay. I'm not going to be able to do this, so we're just going to leave it. Plug it back in. I'll figure it out later. I'll have it ready for tomorrow. Okay. Oh, there's a whole bunch of items back in stock. I'll make a post about that right after the video. So if you're looking for some things, you'll be seeing it. And I lost my feed again. Okay. Facebook is just being a challenge tonight. Bear with me, please. Okay. Ooh, that doesn't sound fun, Beth. Okay, let's get going. All right, so our first card is this amazing fun fold. I got this idea from Judy Tuttle, and I just changed it up for the cardstock and the designer series paper I wanted to use, but look how fun that is. All right, so we're going to be making this really fun card. Yeah, it's a little, this one's, we're going to start off with a little bit more challenging one. Not that it's impossible, not that it's that difficult. You just have to work your way through it. All right, so we're going to first cut our old olive cardstock. Use this piece here, and we're going to be cutting this at, I need one piece that's 4 1/4 by 11, so we're going to do 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to do that piece first. All right, and then I'm going to do another piece that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right, that's going to be our base. Okay, good, you can see me. Okay, so now I have two pieces that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to put that aside. This piece here, that's my 4 1/4 by 11, I'm going to do some scoring on. So I'm going to score at my 2-inch mark, and make sure you have your cutting blade out of the way. I went to go do a video the other night, and for 3 times, I used my cutting blade instead of my scoring blade. Okay, scoring at 2 inches. Then 3 3/4. 7 1/4, so I need to pull this arm out here. I'm going to actually move this ribbon and embellishment back in my package. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to 7 1/4 using my scoring blade, and then at 9 inches. All right. So I've got those two pieces. All right. Now, I do need to trim this one down to be 4 1/4 by 4. So I know it's 4 1/4 here, so I'm just going to turn it and cut it down to 4 inches. And then you have the scrap piece. Put all your scrap pieces into your little baggie because we'll end up using some of them at some point. All right, now the next piece here, we're going to do our cutting of our cardstock, and I just realized there's one, designer series paper. There's one other color that I need, and well, this is a new package. I better have this color. Here it is. On the back of this one, I'm going to be using this green. This other piece back. All right. Okie dokie. We've got all those colors. So I have it listed as pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, 4. So our first pattern, I need 2 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 4 inches. And that is going to be my little side pieces right here. Oh, I'm using even another piece of paper. Hold on. I need to get that one out. So that one is, what sheet is that? Oh, please. I feel like I'm missing a sheet here. Okay, I am. I don't know how, but I am. Let me see if it's in my other bag here. Okay. Oh, where is that sheet? Bear with me, I'm looking for the right sheet here. And it's a little one of... It's not that, it's not that. I don't know which side of the paper it's on. Okay, we may end up just using that because I can't find the strip I need. And I know I didn't use all of it, so I'm looking for this one right here. And I can't imagine what I did with this sheet. Let's see. I've got some other pieces here. Hang on. You will have a full package. My package wasn't full, so it is not here. I do need these. Okay. Some die cut pieces. I apologize. I'm really, really, really sorry. But I can't find it. I can't imagine. Oh, here's some right here. Okay. Oh, okay. So it was on my card sheet. All right. Oh my gosh. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your card sheet here. And that's okay. We're going to be trimming this up a lot. So we'll actually start with trimming this one down, because that way you'll see all the different pieces that you're going to be using. I'm going to move all of this aside. Let's trim this down. We won't be using all of this tonight, but you'll have it ready for tomorrow as well. Okay, so on this piece, and this has the stripes in the back, we're going to be cutting this strip right here of these squares, because that's what we're going to be using in our next card. So I'm just sliding that in to meet up that line right there. All right, and I believe that's about, we can measure it. I think it's 2 inches. Yeah, so if you want to measure, it's 2 inches. All right, so then I've got this strip, so I'm just going to put this aside. And what I want is this one right here. So I'm going to trim this part down, and we're going to go this direction. And I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. Okay. All right. Don't worry, we'll be using this piece for a card tomorrow. And now what I want is this piece right here, because these are the pieces that I said that I needed to have it at 3 3/4 by 4 inches. So I know that's 4 inches. So let's go ahead and, pretty sure it's 4 inches. Yeah. I'm going to cut it down to 3/4. So let's go up here so you can see what I'm doing. And just make sure that you're cutting the pattern up and down. So there's my first one. And there's my second one. All right. Okay. So now we've got those 2 side pieces. Now we're going to need to cut our cloud cover and our petal pink. So here is our cloud cover here. And let's cut our first one. So I have my petal pink here. I'm doing it in the order it's listed in the tutorial. So I've got this. I want this to be 1 3/4 by 4 inches. So I'm going to be just cutting this right here, 1 1/4. I do want to make sure that this is going up and down when I cut it. So 1 3/4. All right. And we're going to be using that for our flowers and the sides of our card, just like that. So I've got that piece, so just leave it. Well, I suppose we can do the 4/4 stuff. 4 inches right now, so we have them. So 1, 2. So there's my 2 4-inch pieces. So 1 3/4 by 4. So we've got 2 of those. And this piece we're going to be stamping our flowers on. So just put that one aside. All right. So now we're going to do our old olive, which is the back of this one. And I just dropped a whole bunch of my pieces. Hang on. All right. This piece we're going to be cutting at 3 1/4 by 4. So I'm just going to cut this right away at 4 inches. Because I know 4 inches is a very common thing that I use in my layers. So I'm going to do this piece by 4 inches. And then I'm going to do this by 3 1/4. Okay. So now I've got that piece. And I'll show you the pieces again right after we've done everything. And now I need to pull this one back in because we're going to do our pattern 4 here. And this has to be 3 3/4 by 4. So again, I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. And then I'll turn it and cut it at 3 3/4. All right. Now I also will pull out a piece of my white cardstock. And my white cardstock needs to be cut at 3 3/4 by 3. So I'm just going to do this at 3 inches here. And now I've got my 3 3/4. All right. And then I need a 4 by 3. So this was 3 inches. So now I just need to cut that to 4 inches. Actually, you don't even need to cut this piece. I'm going to tell you why. Because I actually did that for you. We're going to be using this little arch in here. I use the everyday arches to cut that out. So grab this out of your little package. So that's what the 4 and 3 inch piece is for. So we don't even have to use that one. All right. And we can just use this for our stamping of our leaves. Okay. So let's go back over what we have cut already. So we have a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 that we scored. We have a piece that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Then we have another piece that's 4 1/4 by 4. I have a piece of designer series paper that's 4 by 3, right? No, 3 1/4 by 4. I have another piece, let's see, this is our pattern 1, so it's 3/4 wide by 4 inches long. So let's go in that order. So that's pattern 1. Pattern 2 is our petal pink. So we've got 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 4. We actually have 3 pieces. This is what we're stamping on, so I'm going to put that aside because this is what we're going to use for our card base. Then I have my old olive here, which is 3 1/4 by 4. I have my cloud cover DSP, which is my pattern 4. This is going to go on the front of our card, and this is 3 3/4 by 4. I feel like that's not right. I cut that in the wrong direction. Oh dear me. So going up and down, I need to have that at 4 inches. And then I'm going to turn this to make it 3 3/4, right? 3 3/4 by 4. There we go. My height needs to be 4 inches, so I had cut that wrong. Okay. Then we have our 3 by 3 3/4. That's for the inside of our card. And then we have our arch, which is going to be on our card front as well. And we have our basic white to do whatever extra stamping we need. We have our petal pink to do a stamping of our flowers. And the other thing that we need here is our, cloud cover. Okay. And what I'm going to do with that one, I'm going to, and I should have done it ahead of time. Okay. I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4 by 4. I'm sorry, 5 1/4 by 4. I'm just turning my trimmer so you can see where I'm going. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. I need 2 inside panels for my next card. So I'm just going to do it now because I need a little scrap here. So I'm showing you how to save some paper up a little bit. All right. So again, this is for our next card, but I needed this piece right here. I know you're like, what is she doing? Well, that's what I'm doing. Just to show you. All right. So we've got all these pieces, right? It's going to be beautiful. All right. So we're going to take our card base here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to slide some of this over. I'm just going to take my 2 pieces and I'm just going to put them on the edges on both sides. So just going to make sure my direction's going the right way. You can use liquid glue, you can use Seal Plus, you can use Seal, whatever you want to use. If you go over a little bit, just fold it in. I like to make sure that this is going to stick. All right, so I've got my first piece, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of an edge because it's a 1/4 inch smaller in height. So I'm leaving just a little bit of an edge. And now I'm going to take this one, do the same thing. Two. All right. And we're going to go here. I can't even imagine how uncomfortable you are, Beth, with having those injections in your back. Okay. Now we have that. Now we're going to put that aside for a moment, and we're going to grab the piece of old olive that we had scored, and I am just going to just burnish all my edges here. And there it is. I was like, I know I have one more line here. All right. Okay. So now when I fold this piece right here is going to fold that way, and this piece is going to fold this way. Same with this side. We're going to fold these 2 out. So this is kind of how it's going to look when it closes in the front. Now that we have this, we can actually adhere this right to our card base, and then we can go ahead and continue on with our embellishing. So I want to make sure that I have enough adhesive, because this is going to be open and closed, because they're going to be so enamored with this project that you made that you want to make sure it stays together. So put enough adhesive on there. So now I'm just going to actually take those pieces. That's going to help me hold it up. And I'm just going to center that, making sure that my top and my bottom is aligned. And I'm going to have a little bit of gap between that and my designer paper. Okay, I didn't quite line that up. So let's lift it up a little bit. Now, one thing, when you're using strong adhesive, it really stays down well. So don't press it down until you know you have it exactly where you need it. Again, I like to lift these pieces because it just makes it easier for me to see. I'm just not getting to the edge. There we go. Okay. All right. Good enough. All right. So there we go. Now, on these 2 end pieces is where we're going to put our Petal Pink Designer Series paper. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, if you're not a Petal Pink fan, use the blue cloud cover side. You know, you have enough paper to choose what you really want to use. This just happened to be the way I designed these. That's all. Get creative, have fun. Don't stress about it. All right, so now we have those two pieces. Now let's take this designer series paper, our old olive designer series paper, and we're going to put that right on the inside. And make sure when you do this that you have the 4-inch is your height. All right, and that fits right inside there. Just like that. Okay, isn't it looking kind of cool right now? So look how pretty that is. Okay, now I'm going to take my basic white here, and I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on there. So the two stamp colors that I'm using are going to be my Secret C, and I'm also using my Petal Pink blend. Now, I may have to, let's see, is this Petal Pink as well? No. I may have to substitute because my Petal Pink is kind of drying out. So I may just grab a different color, but we'll be okay. So we're going to grab this piece, and I want to grab this piece right here. So these two pieces are what we're stamping on. We're going to stamp our sentiment here. And where did I put my stamps? And the sentiment I'm going to choose to stamp on this one is Always Here For You. Take that cover off. I'm going to put that inside and find my Always Here For You. All right. There we go. And I'm going to stamp that at the top. We'll turn it the right direction. And I'm doing Always Here For You. Like so. Let's get that one cleaned up. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a portion of one of our flowers and just stamp it in the two corners. All right. So after I get this clean, you can choose whichever flower you want to use. It's not going to show a lot of it, so I'm just going to use this one, the small flower. So in the tutorial, I say a large flower and a small flower. This kind of half flower is my small flower. All right. And I do want to grab just a scrap piece of paper here because then I don't have to worry about wiping it off. All right, so let's ink this up again. And I'm going to just put, ooh, wrong color. Good thing I saw that. I want it in Old Olive. All right. And that doesn't, there we go. I wanted to make sure the Secret C was off there. All right, so I've got that. And then down here, I'll put more of the flower. All right, so there is our inside. It's telling me, clean your stamp, clean your stamp. So tomorrow night, we'll be doing this at 5 o'clock again. And then we'll be making 2 more of the cards. And on Thursday, it's actually going to be a video. My husband has been saying, making little hints that I've been really busy with my business and not doing things with him. So, you know how they say happy wife, happy life? Well, in this case, it's happy husband. All right, so I've got my 2 large flowers that I'm stamping. Yeah, so I do need to spend some time with him. And actually, we're going out to dinner right after this. And now I want to take my leaves. So I'm taking the leaf off of here. And I'm going to close my Secret C because I don't want to stamp with that. That scrap piece of white that we had before, we're going to be using this. I'm trying to do all my stamping right away here. And I need to have 2 leaves. So 1, 2, and just, you can fit them on there. I'm not really worried about the stems so much because they're going to be covered up. So here we go. Now, by magic of TV, I actually have my stems already cut out. So let's just grab those 2. There's this little piece though that you got to pop out. Okay, so I've got those 2. And Now the next thing I need to do is to cut my large flowers out of my petal pink. So I am going to do that. So I'm just going to grab my small die cut machine here, which I didn't actually have out. Oh. All right. But I like to be able to grab this one so you can see what I'm doing. Just makes it easier. All right, so I got that there. I'm going to open up my dies, which are buried underneath all this paper over here. All right. And I'm going to pull out this right here. So this was the die I used to cut my leaves out. That's part of that. The other die I need to grab is this skinny little piece, because you remember we have this. We're going to be die cutting with that. All right, so let's get our flowers cut. Now there is like a point on one of the flowers, so that's where your point is. That's how easy this one is to match up. I love when I can match my flower up quickly, because sometimes you spin your, your die around like 80 times just trying to figure out where it goes. But that's the tip on this one. There's that one little point on the flower. Just find that and you're golden. We'll get this other one. We're going to die cut that little strip. Then we'll stamp on that. And then we'll get to assembling. We've got our card base done. Now we just need to do our card front. So put that right. I'm going to put that actually back. I'm trying to be really organized today, because I don't want to have to worry about tomorrow going, oh my gosh, I can't find this. Yeah. And I do have a little tip for you. I was actually going to share it. You know what? I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna share it for my VIP group. So on Tuesdays, I like to give you a little tip. So I'll have this tip for you next week. So if you're not in my Facebook VIP group, my Stamp Studio VIP, get on there, because you're gonna see Tuesday tips. Okay, let's put that one back. All right, so we've got all the little pieces cut. That's one more thing to stamp here. So I'm going to take this little strip. I know it's little, right? And we're going to just stamp just a note. So I have my little stamp here. I'm going to put it down on my base here. And then I'm going to pick it up actually with a smaller. I like using my skinny one here. So I'm going to pick it up just like that. I'm going to grab in my Secret C. Now, if you're like me and had to turn on the ceiling fan so you're not going to roast to death here, you may just want to hold that or put a little adhesive on your, your mat here, and then stamp just to hold it in place in case your fan is blowing things around. I'm just going to slide this down a little bit and look through my block and stamp it. It just fits. And if you did a boo-boo, go ahead. You've got enough piece there to make another one. All right. I think we've got all our stamping done. So let's move this aside. I'm going to take this one off and put it away. Okay. So we've got 2 flowers, 2 leaves, and we'll need our ribbon and our bling here, and we need our arch. Okay. So our arch, we still have our designer series paper and our other old olive. So I'm just going to layer these 2 right together just like that. Again, this is the 4-inch side here, or the 4 1/4 inch, and this is the 4-inch going up and down. So we need to get that on. And I actually like to put this on my card base first. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm only going to adhere it to this one side here. All right. Oh, and did I put that on the wrong? Oh, well. I didn't really need that piece there, but it's there. Okay. So I'm just going to take this. And I'm just going to line this up Right. So what you're doing is you're lining up to cover both of those pieces, but you're only adhering it to the one side. So when I put it down, I'm going to do one more strip here. All right. I want to line it up. So usually when you line it up with the one side, so this is my side that's not sticky, so I'm going to hold it in place there, and then I'm just going to set it down. All right, so now I've got my little mechanism. Okay, let's now take our scallop piece, our everyday arch here. Ooh, we forgot to put the inside. Let's get our inside done. So I'm just going to adhere what I stamped right to the inside of my card, right on top of that designer paper, like so. All right, pretty, pretty. And now let's lay out our flowers. One of the other things I want to do is I actually want to put my ribbon on here. So I'm going to grab my secrecy ribbon. I'm going to tie my bow. And that will also help me determine where I'm going to put my leaves and my flowers. And give yourself a long enough piece so you can tie your bow. Just try not to get my ribbon twisted there. Oh my goodness. Come on. Come on. Go around. Go around. My thumb is in the way of everything. And my ribbon wants to twist today. Okay, there we go. All right. Probably should have had a little bit longer tail. Let's make that a little bit longer. All right. Now, if you're a person that needs assistance with tying your bows, grab out your tweezers or just put a little bit of adhesive on the back. You'll hold your bow, your ribbon kind of in place while you tie it. Just a little bit. Because you may want to move your position of your bow. All right. There we go. I do want a bigger bow, so. All right, let's trim our edges off. We'll give it a little bit of a haircut here. So snip, snip, there we go. We can move that off to the side, put our scissors back. And now we're going to be putting on our flowers and our leaves. So I'm going to have this come off a little bit. I do like to put this here because even though I'm going to have this come off, I don't want it to go above, you know, the base here because it won't go into your envelope then. So I have one there. I have my flower here. I have another. I'm kind of hiding one part of my. So one flower here, one flower here. And then I'm going to just take my just a note and put it across the top. All right, so my bow looks to actually be in a pretty good spot. All right, now I'm just going to lift my two flowers off, and I have my leaves placed where I want them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adhere my leaves down right away, and then I can place my flowers on there. Now last night I made a mistake. I left this open, so give me a moment to unclog it because I didn't have a chance to before the video. I'm going to grab a scrap here. There we go. All right. So I know part of my leaf hangs off, so I'm not going to do, you know, the tips of my leaves. I'm just going to do this smaller area. All right. And then before I completely adhere it down, I just want to put this back on, make sure it's not going too far over because maybe I need to twist it a little bit. All right. So I've got that one. Now let's get this one down. Again, I'm only doing like the middle up here. I'm not doing the, trying to get a little more glue out there. I'm not doing the ends. Because again, this one's going to hang off a little bit. right. Now, I am going to go ahead and adhere both of my flowers with my dimensionals. So I'm going to also show you a little trick about dimensionals. So I learned this really helps me when I go over to my assisted living ladies. And it really actually helps me too. I take a Sharpie and I just draw along my dimensionals here because it helps me see where I peel these off. And also when I'm working on my project, sometimes you think you haven't torn, taken off the backing. Well, now you know, because you won't see those stripes anymore. So just a little tip. So there's your Tuesday tip. Didn't know you were going to get one today, did you? All right. I'm full of it. Of tips, I mean. All right. And we'll get these two backings off. All right. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, for heaven's sake. There we go. Before I put those two on, let's put this on the front of our card. And I am going to use dimensionals for that as well. So sometimes it's easier to put this on before you put your other dimensionalized pieces. Is that a word? Dimensionalized? Popped up. Well, it's a word tonight. All right. And so this card just takes, it's just a little more, it's not hard, right? You're not having a hard time with it, are you? It just takes a little bit of time, but it's so worth it. And I cannot get these backings off for the life of me tonight. They just don't want to come off. Okay. So, go here. Oh, I don't want you on there now. Now you want to stick. All right. So I'm just going to center that right there. Now I can come back and add my flowers. And if I want, I can kind of curl up the edges of my flowers. You can use a pencil, you can use a bone folder, or you can just use your hand. All right. So I'm going to put one over here. I like kind of that distressed look it gives it. So we're going to do that over here. Now, on this one, I'm probably not going to do it as much because we're going to tuck part of that underneath my bow. And then we're going to add our strip here. So I'm going to add my adhesive. And again, I leave this open and I know better. I need to close this right away. So hold on while I get my handy dandy. Oh, my pin is gone. All right. Hopefully is why I give it a really good squeeze and hopefully not blow it out. All right, I do need a pin or something. All right, that's gonna be too thick. Oh, maybe that will work. Let's see. No, okay. I don't have a pin or needle handy. I usually have my little glue holder, but I took my glue holder downstairs. I was working down there. By downstairs, I mean in my living room. Spending quality time with my hubby watching a movie. All right. And what you want to make sure you do that I didn't just do is the side that you really want glued is where it says note. Probably not glue that side so much because it's going to be popped up. It's not going to be sticking to anything. So I just need to move this up a little bit. It's going to kind of go over that flower. Since I had extra glue, I had to make sure I wasn't sticking on somewhere. All right. So now all I have to do is add my embellishments. So let's bring those in. The next card will be going pretty quick. I want my take a pick tool here. And we're just going to randomly put some of these dots And let's see. So I was very excited that these came back in stock. So those of you that got your craft along ahead of time, you have this color here, these Moody Dots. If you order the craft along after the fact, I can't guarantee that you'll get these. You'll be getting something that will work just as well, an embellishment that works just as well. But these have been going in and out of stock so darn quick, it's kind of hard to know if they'll be there. But you will get something that will coordinate. In fact, the other ones that you would get would be like this. So, okay, so that is our first card. What do you think? Think you're going to be able to make that again? It's not really too difficult. It just takes a little time. Just making sure that your paper pieces are cut the right direction. I'm glad I made that mistake so I could just show you what not to do. Yeah, that was my goal. Not really. Okay, our second card here is another fun fold. I'm going to be using the old olive piece that, the other old olive that we pulled in. And remember I talked about the squares here? We're going to be using the squares right here. So the next thing that you're going to have to do is, these are also in your kit, in that little bag. You know what, I took mine out last night for some dumb reason, and I used them for something else. So let me just get my dies. I'm going to have to cut these really quick. But you'll have these in your little cello bag. So pull out that little cello bag where your arch was in before, and go ahead and get out those two. And I'm just going to quick run that through so I have them. You know, I always forget something in my own package. But it's not like I forgot. I purposely used these for another card. Like I had to do something really quick, so I just grabbed them. So this is from the Textured Note Dies. Now, if you didn't have, if you don't have these and you want to reproduce this card later, in your lovely assortment dies, you have this longer label. We'll be using that quite a bit. So that's why I just wanted to change it up somewhat with this one. In fact, we are using it on the front of our card. So that piece you're going to have to die cut yourself. So grab that extra scrap that you had before from the other card, that white. And you'll be stamping that one. Okay. You'll be stamping, die cutting that one. Sorry. Can't speak. All right. And actually, I think I can maybe even get two out of there if I need to. All right. Okay. Now this is the card that we're going to be using our adhesive sheets on. Woohoo! Aren't you excited about that? I am. And we're going to go ahead and pull out our little leaf die here. I'm going to move this out of the way so we can grab all the pieces that we need first. And so we need to have, I need to move this bit right here. So we're doing our second card. And, silly me, I didn't even pay attention to myself. I wasn't even, reading my directions. So hopefully the way I assembled it is the way I said in there. I noticed that I didn't have these cut really straight. So I'm just going to bring in my trimmer again. And I just want to trim off that little excess that I have. All right, there we go. All right. I'll trim those down in just a moment. So you're going to take your white again, and you will need your green here, and you will need, I'm just getting all the pieces here. I need a little strip of this. So we had that little excess left here. I want to grab that sheet. Here it is. All right, I'm going to grab this right here. I'm just trying to put all these other pieces away for the moment. And then if I need something, I'll pull it out. I will need my brown, this blue here. Now, my piece is trimmed down. And the reason my piece is trimmed down is because I actually pre-filmed the video for Thursday. Because like I said, I had plans with my husband and I knew I had that coming up as well. So I went ahead and did it ahead of time. So I've got some things that are just kind of cut. Put that aside. I need my green here. I'll need my petal pink. My white's there. And my 2 pieces of cloud cover that I just cut a few minutes ago. All right. Now that I've got all my pieces out, I'm going to go ahead and get some of this picked up again. Because I don't want to have a mess here while you're trying to see what I'm doing. All right, so I have my dies here. And the first thing here is I'm going to try and follow my tutorial directions. It's not that I don't know how to follow directions. I just, my brain sometimes works in a different way. All right. So what I'm going to do here is, it says stamp flowers using Secret Sea ink onto both of my cloud cover pieces. Okay, let's start with that. So we have our 2 pieces of cloud cover here. I didn't create my card base. I'm going to do my card base first. So here's my 8.5 by 11. I'm just going to cut it at 4 1/4 by 11. Put this piece aside. And then I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. All right, I've got that. There is one other piece that I didn't tell you to pull out, so you're going to need to pull that one out now. You'll be pulling out your Secret Sea cardstock, and you're going to be cutting a 1 1/4 inch by 11. So I'm just going to trim this to 1 1/4. There's my 1, and there's my 1/4. So there we go. Trim that down just like that. Why didn't that look like 1 1/4? It is. Okay. I'm just going to put that back in my kit. Back in my kit. So as I go, I'm just putting pieces away so I don't have them all over my room. So if it takes me a moment, that's why. I'm trying to be a little bit more clean. All right, so this piece here, now this is on the directions on the measurements piece. So it tells you to score this at 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and 8 1/4. So I'll need to pull out our ruler. And let's get these projects out of the way. Okay. So, again, scoring at 2 3/4. Make sure you don't use your trimmer. 2 3/4. And then I'm going to 5 1/2. And then 8 1/4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different places I'm going to be putting things. Since we're right here, let's go ahead and we're going to cut our little squares. Since I've got my trimmer out, I might as well do it ahead of time. I really like this little flower piece, so I'm going to cut that one. So I'm just going to actually turn it in here. I don't need this open anymore. So we'll cut this at 2 inches. Now, if your piece hangs over just a little bit, you can trim it down, which I'm going to need to do. I don't know why does that, but it does. Okay. I have a piece of paper stuck right there. And no, I'm not following the directions. I already stopped. And I want to make sure that that different pattern is right in my groove. That way I know that these will be cut right. Okay, so I have this piece, and then I'm going to use my Secret C and my Petal Pink there. So we're going to do this, get that right in that groove. All right, and we'll do this one. Ooh, and I have some exciting news to share. So on Saturday, it is National Scrapbooking Day. I am super excited. I really like to scrapbook, and I haven't been doing it lately. So I'm going to be scrapbooking on Saturday, and I'm going to pop in here and there and do some videos. Okay, so now we have our 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to stamp on our clown cover cardstock. So let's grab in that scrap piece of paper I had. Where'd it go? I thought I threw it back in my garbage. Oh, please. I'm sure I have another piece in here to stamp on. There we go. Okay. And I am going to grab my small flower here to stamp. You stamp whichever one you'd like. And I'm grabbing my Secret C ink. And keeping the amount of ink that I'm using kind of down to a minimum here. All right, so I'm just going to randomly stamp my flower. Stamp it as much as you want. We're going to have part of it hidden in the middle, so keep that in mind. And I'm just turning it all different directions here. And I really don't need much more. So we'll go to this one. And I'll put one up here. I'm going to clean that really quick before I get that on top of everything. I'll be using it again, but now I got those stamped. It says to stamp 5 flowers using my Secret C. So I'm going to take that piece of basic white that I had here. I do want to cut a little bit down. Oh, I need to stamp my little sentiments here. And I do need a piece for the front. So I'm actually going to cut that piece for the front right now. So I need a piece that is 4 inches by 2.5. So let's just take this. I'm just going to cut this to 2.5 right here. I just want to double check my measurements. 2.5. Yep. And then 4 inches. So I have 2 pieces there that are 2.5 by 4. One of them I can use for my stamping. Oh, that's probably not going to be enough. I lied. We're going to grab this piece in, and we're going to stamp 5 large flowers. Wait, I just want to make sure how many I have here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 large ones and 1 small one. That's what I need. All right. So it did say a total of 5 flowers. Okay, ink, where are you? And then we'll die cut these out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know what? Because I know I'm going to be needing more, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp a few more. That way I have them. because I do know, you know, next couple of projects I'll need them. All right. So on here, before I cut them out, I'm going to take my Petal Pink. I'll try this one, my Petal Pink blend here. And usually I let that dry a little bit, but I'm going to kind of dot around my flower on the inside. I could actually just color, but I'm going to go ahead and dot. And again, this is almost dried out, so it's not showing up as much as I would like. You can kind of see it in the sample and then on the tutorial. And if you had a different color that you want to use, if you want to use an old olive blend or a cloud cover blend, you can do that. This is just how I happen to design with this one. But you can switch it out. I may have to switch it out because this is just not coloring the way I need. And the thing with the ink is that if I color too much with this blend, it will bleed. And I don't want that to happen. All right, so just going to go back in a little bit. And just add a little bit of color there. All right, well, it's going to be what it is. All right, so then I'll die cut all these out. So I have them die cut. And of course, the ones that I have die cut do not have any coloring on them. Of course they don't, but we're going to pretend it does, okay? Because, you know, we need to get through tonight. All right, I need this. And we're going to stamp a couple more things here before I get any further. I'm going to stamp my sentiments here, and I also have this one for my sentiment. So let's do our stamping with our sentiment, and that way we can do our die cutting, and then we'll assemble our card. So, oh, this didn't come very clean. The bad thing about having my ceiling fan on is that it dries out my chamois super quick. Okay, so let's grab this one. And on this particular one, we're going to stamp Sending Smiles. And again, you can stamp in whichever color you want, Old Olive or Secret Sea. On my original sample, I did stamp in Secret Sea, but I'm going to switch it up here, and I'm going to stamp it in Old Olive, just so you can see what the difference is. But you choose which one you would like to go with. And again, you can always change it up. All right, Sending Smiles. And then on the inside, I had also done those in Secret Sea. We're going to change it up and just do this. So on the inside, I stamped, Hello Friend, Love You. So we'll get this clean. Okay, let's just get that there. Hello Friend. And love you. So I'm just going to grab a couple blocks here. Thought that was kind of a sweet little sentiment for a friend. Maybe they just need to know that someone's thinking about them. Hello, friend. Love you. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your aunt, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's a neighbor. Who knows? Maybe it's your partner. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and get all of our different pieces. So we have those 4 squares. We've got lots of flowers. We got 3 tags. We have our card base. We have our 2 inside pieces. The thing that we don't have right now is our leaves that we're going to be die cutting. But let's go ahead and at least get our inside done. We can get all that kind of out of the way. So we're going to take our cloud cover pieces here and just put them on both sides of the inside. And we're just going to just center them. this one and center this. All right, there we go. We've got our little strip here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our strip and we're going to fold it forward, back, forward. Okay. And I am going to adhere this first one to my bottom, lining up with the bottom edge. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, so I'm actually just going to kind of fold it down. Line it up right here. Like so. Give it a nice press. Now, I'm going to leave it folded like that. I'm going to take this, put my adhesive on it. A little extra, and I'm going to fold this down just like that. So now I've got my little pop-up area. How easy is that mechanism, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and put our little blocks on there. Now on my original card, I kind of crunched these up a little bit, kind of distressing them. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't know. I'm not a fan of how that turned out. So I'm just going to take my squares here, put some adhesive right in the middle, and put that right on each of my sections. So we'll do the blue, we'll do the green here. Oop, in the middle, Beth, in the middle. Don't adhere on the outside, adhere in the middle. Then my old olive here. And then we'll do our petal pink. And then we'll do our cone cover. Now you use the 4 squares that you like. Okay. So ta-da. Just like that. We're going to take our sentiments now. And so I want love you down here in the bottom, hello friend up on the top. So I am just going to take some of my adhesive and not go all the way across because the label is just a little bit longer than the square. All right. Okay, so we've got those. Now we can take our little flowers here and we're just going to put some adhesive down. This is actually where I prefer to use my liquid glue, but you use whatever adhesive you want. So I've got one flower here. Got another flower here. All right, now I'm just going to close that down. There we go. So our inside is finished. Now let's get to the fun part of our front side. So we have our 2.5 by 4 inch piece of white. That's going to be right here. Right. I probably could have done that before I did my inside, but we're going to wing it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put that strip on. I'm not stamping on it. I'm just putting it right here. All right. So you're going to give it a little bit of a edge around it, just like that. All right. Now we need to pull in our pattern here. So this is our little brown. I just cut this to be 4 inches wide. So I used the whole strip and I just cut it down 4 inches. Now we're going to need a 2.5 inch piece here. So I'll cut this at 2 inches. Did that make sense? So I took my sheet here and I cut it at 4 inches. All right. We're going to adhere this one down. Again, I'm just going to kind of center it there. I have a gap in between the two. That's fine. Because we're going to take this right here. Oops, that's on piece. Where'd it go? Oh my goodness, where did it go? I'm looking for that small piece that I had left over. There it is, right here. So this is 4 inches wide. So this particular piece here, I need this to be cut at, where is it? 4 inches by 1 inch. So I'm just going to flip that over. I'm going to cut it down to 1 inch. Choo. I'm using this stripe side, and I am just going to overlap those two sections. Now on my tutorial, I didn't put ribbon on here because it would look kind of funky to do that. If you wanted to have a ribbon around here, do that before you adhere your inside piece, right? So it's just an option. So that way the ribbon would be underneath this layer. Right, so now the next thing that I need to die cut are going to be my leaves and my little dots here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to take this piece right here, and I'm going to take my adhesive sheet, and I'm just going to lay this right on here. It's just a leftover scrap piece. Right. And I probably won't get three full sheets out of it, but 3 leaves, I mean, but we'll see what we get. I could have just put it all the way across, like I should have done it. I should have gone this way with it and then trimmed it down. But you want that whole backing to be adhesive. So let's just go ahead and do this. I'm going to, because I know I'm going to need that whole piece. So we're going to put this right here. That. I'll trim that down. Then just need to trim off this piece. This block right here, we'll just put on there if I can get it pulled apart. Okay, I can't get it pulled apart. So, well, just try it again. Just gotta lift. Once I get that backing lifted, it'll be fine. There we go. That was my sticky side. So I'm just going to put it on there like this. And yeah, I have a little extra schnibble there. I'm just going to throw it away. Okay. Alrighty. So let's grab our petal pink here. We need to cut this piece at 2.5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to do... trying to remember what my other cards were and how much petal pink I have that I need. I think I've got a whole other piece in here. Yeah, I should have a whole other piece in there. Okay. So I'm going to cut this at whole piece because I just want to see how, is this the way I cut this one? I think I cut it this way. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4 by 11. And then I need this at 2.5. Okay, let's grab our dies and get this die cut out. Oh, here it is. Right here, just like that. So this piece is going to be cut out. It is a whole piece. It's not going to cut individual circles, don't worry. So we've got this, and then we've got our leaf All right, so we'll get those cut and we'll get this card done lickety split. But this is definitely what saves you some time. Oh, I just realized my bow had fallen off my card. It's like, I really could have sworn I put ribbon on there. I did. It fell off on my sample. So, I'm going to show you how I did it. All right. So here, and you know, I think this is the more fun piece in this whole die set. You know, this is what really made me go, I gotta have those dies. This piece right here. Call me weird, I know, but you know what? It just, and you can use those small pieces for, you know, embellishments if you want. I am not. Okay, and now let's get our leaves cut out. Our leaves. So I need to have 3. And actually, I'm not pulling the right one in. It's not this one that we need. It's going to be these right here. I don't know why. I was looking at my paper. I'm like, why did I think I needed to have adhesive sheet for that? It's not. I need these. So you're looking at your more detailed die here for your leaf. And we're going to cut that several times. Now that I did not have prepared ahead of time. That I could have, but I didn't. All right. So you're just going to keep going through, you know, however many times you want, how many leaves you want. It's totally up to you. And this will go right here again. And I'm just moving it around so you know, I can get as many as I can out of here. All right, where's my top? One thing about having the adhesive sheets on your, if you do it on cardstock, run it back and forth a couple of times. So you initially cut and then go back, because that die has to cut through that adhesive layer as well. So you definitely want to go back and forth a couple of times. Save yourself some grief and just do it. Okay. And I'll cut a couple more. Because you know, it's kind of fun. I don't mind die cutting. It's much easier than having to fussy cut these out. Just saying. But you could. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think I might have enough. I have 3 clusters here. We're going to go with that's going to be enough. Uh-oh. Here we go. This one got stuck in here, so I'll pop that one out. Okay. Put those away so I don't lose them. I've not been allowing my dies to go out and play. They've been staying at home, staying in their place where they have to run. They can't run, I should say. Okay. Let's get this card done and we'll be done for the evening. Okay, so here it is. Here's our card front. We're going to go ahead and just put this on at an angle. We're just going to grab some liquid glue here. Now, if you like doing things flat, like I'm kind of doing it on my top here, then just do the middle piece after. And maybe that's why I said in the tutorial. I don't remember. Okay. So if you need to make sure that it's flat, just flip it over. Right. Press it down. There you go. Okay. We're going to go ahead and add our leaves. So let's go ahead and take this, and we just need to peel up this backing. So let me find, and just gently peel it off. Okay. If you try to quickly peel it off, you're probably going to end up tearing your paper. So just take a moment. Now mine's coming off piece by piece because remember I did that layering of my adhesive sheet. If you just use one piece of adhesive sheet, you won't have this issue. Come on, get up. Okay, all right. I'm just going to put them on as I peel them off because they're just really sticking to everything. So, and I don't want to tear them. So I'm going to put this one right down here. And I'm going to take my single one here. And again, I'm just peeling off the backing. And I'm going to put that one over here. All right, we'll take a double one again. Two. And so we have a wedding coming up. So I think I'm going to use one of these fun folds for a wedding card. Put that one down like that. All right, now, before I put any more pieces down, I'm going to adhere my flowers on here. So I needed 2 large flowers and 1 smaller flower, and then my sentiment. So let's go ahead. I'm going to curl up my edges here. And I'm just going to take some liquid glue and just do the center. And I'm going to pop that one right here. Okay. Now, I just realized, the lighting in my room is different. So when I looked over at my sample card, this didn't look like petal pink. I'm like, oh, did I grab the wrong color? I didn't, because it was in the bag. All right. Then we've got our small flower. I'm going to tuck that right there. And I'm going to curl up those little edges a little bit. Kind of gives you like that shabby chic kind of look. And then I have my last flower. And I'm only going to curl a couple of the edges up because part of this is going to be under the label. So I'm actually going to pop it up on dimensionals on this one. So let's grab our dimensionals. And you know what? By doing this, it's so much easier to find on your craft table. I'm just saying. I was looking all over. I'm like, where did I put them? I'm like, oh, there they are. Because I can see that black strip. Okay. But for the life of me, I just can't get these peeled off today. All right. So now the pieces I curled up go here. All right. Now, I'm going to take my Sending Smiles and I'm just going to put it across like that. So really all I want to do is have my dimensional right here on this side. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue over here so that wherever it catches, it'll kind of stay down. All right. I'm going to take my ribbon. Oh, I need to add a couple more leaves here, I think. I had this one right here, I believe. I'm going to put my ribbon right there. So we'll get this peeled off, and we are almost done. We're just going to add our ribbon, and we are going to be done with our projects tonight. So tomorrow night, I'll be live again at 5 o'clock right here, and we'll be making 2 more fun folds. And again, those of you that have the craft along, you got an extra tutorial that I am actually not going to be doing live on. It's easy enough to do. It's not going to be in the live video, so it's just something a little extra and special for you. So if you want that 7th tutorial. Okay, so just take our bow. We'll make it a little smaller. There we go. And trim down our ribbon a little bit. I'm going to grab a glue dot. And I'm going to take my bow here to my glue dot. Oh. Okay, I'll lift it off. I'll kind of tuck that excess glue underneath. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of hide my little knot under there. Not really, not a whole lot, but just a little bit. There we go. Okay, now we just have to add our embellishments on the front, and we are done with our card. Let's close our glue up because we don't want our glue exposed. Embellishments. And I have a little bit of sticky on my mat here, so it's sticking to that card a little bit. All right, so we'll just randomly do some different colors here. So, and I think I'll do a dark blue. And then down on the bottom, green. I'll do another blue. And let's see, we'll do another little blue. Maybe right up here. All right, so I just sprinkled on. So here was my original sample. Yeah, like I said, you can see my glue dot, my bow fell off. I'll have to add another bow. And then on the inside. All right, so let's bring in our first card. Just to recap tonight. So we have our fun little fold, our always here for you, and our sending smiles. I hope you loved tonight's projects, and we'll see you again tomorrow night, 5 o'clock. This will be uploaded to YouTube in just a few minutes. It just takes a little bit longer. I was just reading some of the comments. Sorry. All right. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow. Bye.